Hello and welcome to Chepicap. Today I'm Will and I'll be going through some of the most talked about topics in crypto. If you want to be kept up to date with the discussion, remember to give us a like and to subscribe. So Bitcoin has done it. It's over the now former formidable resistance around 12k, and while getting over that resistance level can't be compared to the god tier resistance at 6k, it still marks a pretty momentous occasion. And that's because fears of a further correction have mostly died down thanks to this latest move. The FUD that had been circling prior to this move above 12k was pretty prolific, with many expecting a further correction, following the 30% retrace a few weeks prior, which brought BTC down from 14k to 9.6 in a matter of days. Analyst Peter Brandt was notably fudding everyone left, right and centre. That doesn't quite sound right. What I meant was he was fear-mongering by pointing out that the correction was fairly mild, especially when compared to previous corrections within parabolic advances in the past. Brandt built further on this, suggesting that if BTC continued to weaken, we could see an 80% decline of its 7-month advance, a drop that would have taken BTC down to the lower mid 4-figure region. With fear mounting, Bitcoin entered a decisive wedge formation, which threatened to either lead price up or down. The downside looked all too real and people feared the worst. Luckily, BTC broke out of the wedge, cutting through 12k like a hot knife through butter. Now with momentum returning, analysts are more bullish than ever, with many suggesting that Bitcoin is just moments away from its previous highs of 14,000, provided that BTC can hold 12k, with analysts particularly noting that a weekly close above 12k would solidify a continuation of an upward trend. Taking the hopium to another level, Mark Yusko, the CEO of Morgan Creek Capital, took to CNBC to revel in this newfound momentum, noting that Bitcoin wasn't just going to return to its previous highs, but hit a new all-time high, stating that Bitcoin would continue its reign as this year's best performing major asset class, adding that Bitcoin was starting its next parabolic advance and would be unlikely to stop until it reaches a price of $30,000. Interestingly, in a recent interview with Block TV, Yusko predicted BTC to hit 100,000 by 2021, suggesting this price point based on network effect and investor speculation. Yusko namely cited Metcalfe's law, a concept that states that a network's value is proportional to the square number of connected users of the system. Interestingly, Yusko could well be right. At present, we're quickly creeping up to the old highs, and this time with little to no help from mainstream media. In fact, it's supposed that this run-up has been mainly institutions or retail investors who are already exposed to the crypto industry. It's likely that once we finally nudge past 20,000, media interest will kick in, which in turn would lead to a new batch of retail investors. But while Bitcoin revels in its newfound bullishness, altcoins continue to stagnate. For Tron, this was made even worse yesterday, by what was perhaps the most confusing scandals of recent crypto history. Yesterday it was reported that Tron's Beijing offices were raided by local Chinese police, following an apparent exit scam from a Tron-affiliated Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi in question was known as the Wavefield Super Community. The Ponzi went down without warning, leaving thousands out of pocket to the tune of $30 million, and apparently leading one investor to commit suicide. Defrauded customers took to the Tron offices to protest, joined by police who, according to eyewitnesses, were raiding the building. Following a commotion on Twitter, and with nothing from either the Tron Foundation or Justin Sun himself, investors started fearing the worst. However, several hours later, the Tron Foundation and Justin Sun finally broke their silence, releasing a post clearing out the worst of the speculation. According to Tron, the offices that disgruntled investors stormed belonged to Rainbow Technology, a partner of Tron, who called the police in response to the protesters. The post relays that victims had been promised a high rate of return from the Ponzi scheme, who had been trading under the same name as the Chinese language version of Tron, hence the improper affiliation, with Wavefield guaranteeing returns in the name of BitTorrent and Tron. Tron also addressed the outcry about their lack of response, noting that they attempted to warn investors about Ponzi schemes back in January, and even sought a cease and desist against the company. Regardless of the statement, clearly precautions need to be put in place to ensure this doesn't happen again. Tron knew about this as early as January by their own admission. A vague warning to investors about scams doesn't really suffice, especially when it comes to a Ponzi scheme fraudulently trading under your name. Moreover, while people are ultimately responsible for their own finances, Tron still have a duty of care to ensure their supporters and investors aren't misled. And I can't help feeling that more could have been done in this instance. But as always, we'd love to hear your take on the topics discussed. Do you think Bitcoin is going to smash through its old highs, or do you think we're still in store for a further correction? What do you think about the confusion around Tron yesterday? Could they have done better, or was it out of their hands? So leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.